Willie O'Ree inducted into the Order of Canada this week, so congratulations. There's Willie, a great shot with Craig Simpson and Scott Oake at GM Place in Vancouver. Scott, out to you.
Ron, thanks very much. Yes, Willie O'Ree made a member of the Order of Canada this week, as Ron pointed out, and we'll talk about that in a second. But you made history as the first black player in the NHL. Debuted with the Bruins in January of '58. 2 games that year, and then I think 43 more a couple of years later in 1961. Played most of your career, though, Willie, in the Western League. So in keeping with the Sedin theme tonight, could those guys have played in the Western League?
Oh, they surely could have. Yeah, they would have been all-stars, definitely.
Yeah. Something, aren't they?
They are. They're very nice to watch.
Great.
Well, you talk about your experience of being a breakthrough athlete, and talk about the things you had to overcome during that time, and just how much things have progressed and changed to where we are now.
Well, when I stepped on the ice in the Montreal Forum, in 1958, I was the only black player in the league with the original 6 teams, but. After that, Mike Morrison come up 13 years later and played with the Washington Capitals, and then later on with the Los Angeles Kings. But I experienced some racism and name calling, but I just decided that I have the skills and the ability to play in the league at that time, and if they can't accept me for the player that I am, I said it's just their tough luck. But it was tough, at the start, but I just went out and tried to represent the hockey club to the best of my ability.
And not only overcoming adversity, but how about your eyesight, too, having to deal with that?
Yeah, that was kind of a secret. I lost my right eye my last year junior, a slap shot, plucked him up, struck me in the right eye, and I lost 97% vision in my right eye. And the doctor, the surgeon, Dr. Henderson, when he stood by my bedside and said, "Mr. O'Ree, I'm sorry to inform you," he says, you're going to be blind in your right eye, and he says, "You'll never play hockey again." So, I slumped back in my hospital bed, and the goals and dreams that I had set for myself seemingly were gone. But I got out of the hospital, and I started back playing, and the only difference I felt about myself, I just couldn't see it on my right eye. Now, imagine being
That's a big difference.
Just a little.
Being a left-hand shot, playing left wing, I had to turn my head all the way to pick the puck up. And I was overskating the puck and missing the net, and I was saying, "Willie, what's wrong?"
Yeah.
So I just told myself, I said, forget about what you can't see, concentrate on what you can see. So my game started to pick up, and I started scoring some goals, and then I was contacted by Punch Emlak, who was putting a professional team together in Quebec. Said he saw me play the last 2 years, wanted me to come to camp. I went up, made the team, but I didn't tell him I couldn't see out of my right eye.
Well, to be clear about that, if they had known in Boston that you were 97% blind in your right eye, they wouldn't have called you.
I would have never played professional, and I definitely would not have played with the Bruins.
Yeah. Willie, a decade before you broke into the NHL, played those 2 games in 1958, January of '58, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in baseball. So a lot of people saw you as hockey's Jackie Robinson. Did you ever see yourself that way?
Well, yes, it was the media that gave me the name Jackie Robinson of hockey. I never called myself Jackie, but when I was recalled back up in 1961, the media said, "Oh, there's Willie O'Ree. He's the Jackie Robinson of hockey," and it stuck with me over the years. But
I met Jackie Robinson on 2 occasions. I met him in 1949 in Ebbets Field in Brooklyn, and then in 1962, the NAACP had a luncheon in Mr. Robinson's honor in Los Angeles, and I was playing for the Los Angeles Blades, and I had an invitation to go. Met Mr. Robinson the second time, and he remembered seeing me in 1949. He says, "Aren't you the young black fellow I met in Ebbets Field?" So he remembered me from 1949 to 1962.
Well, talk to us a bit about your role now and what a difference it makes for you to try to have an impact on young black players as well, but also around the league to try to raise awareness and raise the programs that you're doing.
Well, before you answer, we should say that you are the youth director for the NHL/USA Diversity Hockey Program, which is now called Hockey for Everyone.
Hockey is for everyone, yes. And I've been going on 13 years now. And basically what I do is I travel North America. We have 37 nonprofit programs, and I travel around to do on and off ice clinics, fundraisers, personal appearance, and try to raise money for these programs. And I try and let these boys and girls know that there is another sport that they can play if they want to. And if they can't afford the initial money that is spent, we won't turn any boy or girl away. If they want to play, we will make sure that they get on the ice and play. And I'm just having a great time. I travel around about 15 days a month and work with these boys and girls and go into the inner cities and, let them know that there is this game that they can play, and I'm just having a fun time.
Well, there are, I think by our count, somewhere around 20 black players in the NHL currently, and clearly the best known of them all is the guy who captained the Calgary Flames here tonight, Jarome Iginla. What's he meant to minorities, do you think?
Oh, he's meant a tremendous amount, and what a tremendous role model he is. I
had the pleasure of being at Jerome's hockey clinic in Calgary about 7 or 8 years ago. Yeah. And I mean, the kids and grandmothers and uncles and cousins were there. And I mean, he stood there for 3.5 hours and just signed autographs to every person. I mean, he's that type of an individual, and he's done a lot for hockey. And as far as a role model, he's right up at the very top. The kids just love him.
Willie, want to thank you for your time. Great to have you with us tonight.
Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed the game.
Yeah, it was a great one. It was a great hockey game, yeah. Thanks.
If you like pretty plays, you saw a lot of them from the cities tonight. All right, Willie O'Ree joining us on After Hours. We're standing by for Ryan Kesler of the Vancouver Canucks to sit in next when we come back to GM Place.